Could I ask all of you to close your eyes just for a second and think of one or two of the mentors that brought you into the person you are today? Now, I'm sure that for a lot of you that was a simple task, but for me, not so much. I'm sure a lot of you could have said maybe your mom or your dad or maybe a teacher along the way. But for me, although my parents supported me throughout my childhood, and just like any other boy my age, I wanted to be just like my dad one day. But when people would ask who my idol was, I would always tell them it was Robert Munch. His books had taught me to read, to laugh, and whether I knew it or not, they taught me the importance of reading, of small, consistent actions like reading in bed with a parent at night. This was recently affirmed for me last month when I had the opportunity to hear from a speaker define leadership as habit, the small, consistent actions we take in life to help ourselves and others grow. Looking back, I found very few passions in my life. I found myself to be nothing but a dumb kid with a lot of creativity and way too much energy for himself. And it wasn't until high school that I found what I was missing. I was 14. I was walking through the halls at school, going to the gym to play some basketball, and this girl pulled me out of the crowd. So I went out of my comfort zone and I approached the table she was at. And she exhibited so much energy, I wasn't ready for it. But I took a chance and I reciprocated it. We had a quick conversation. I told her about myself. She told me about her. I bought 2 sodas from that table and we went our separate ways. But for her, that wasn't enough. So for the next 4 months, she would pester me consistently. Chase, you should join leadership. Chase, you should join leadership. Chase, just join leadership already. Until finally, I had hit a breaking point. I was failing tests. I was losing friends. I just lost my girlfriend at the time. And to top it all off, my grandfather, who I kind of looked up to growing up, grew very, very ill. And so I took a jump, joined leadership, and it changed my life. I went to school the next year with a newfound passion and an outlet for my creativity and for my energy. Through leadership, I got the opportunity to join the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, which I happened to be a part of when I was a mentee, and go back to the same elementary school I went to for so many years. That year, I met this orange-haired boy. He was shy, not the smartest, and he didn't have a lot of friends. And when I looked at him, I saw myself. I was just like him as a kid, and now I have the opportunity to give him everything I needed at that age. So by seeing him for 1 hour every week, engaging in small acts of leadership, I watched him grow into one of the smartest, kindest, funnest kids in his class. He turned into a kid that wouldn't shut up even with a lollipop dangling right in front of him. When I was in the program, I had this mentor named Diera. Now, unlike most of the kids in the program, I already had a big sister. But when I was with Diera, I felt heard. I felt seen. I felt like everything was going to be amazing for the rest of my life. I remember one time, me and her had baked cookies together. And now that's nothing crazy, but it's a memory that'll lay in my head for the rest of my life. She left this amazing impact on me, and frankly, I don't think she remembers who I am. The full circle effect I get by coming back and doing it again as a mentor has healed a part of my heart that nothing else could. Because of leadership, I also grew the courage to go back to my old middle school and ask the boys' basketball coach there if I could help out sometimes. And with a lot of convincing, I got the gig. My time with those 11 boys changed my life. Through teaching them and showing up in small ways consistently, I taught myself valuable lessons that I missed out on growing up. And I got to be the person they needed through the roller coaster of a sports season. I went in with intentions on just teaching those boys a little bit on how to play basketball, but I had left with them following me around, staying close to me, and overall helping me grow. I've coached for just over 2 years now, and there was this one boy, both years, that stands out to me. When I started, he struggled finding his place, he wasn't doing great at school, and he didn't have a lot of friends either. But he trusted me. And over the time that I've known him, I have watched him grow into an amazing young man. He started exceeding at school, his people skills got better, he worked towards a starting spot on that team. He's approached me many times now since the season ended, telling me about all of his achievements, but more importantly, about how much of an impact I left on him, saying that he's never had a coach to give him the time of day and to provide that outlet for him. Just about a month ago now, my leadership journey took me to an amazing leadership conference with schools from across the province. And I got to be a spirit leader there, which basically meant that I got to do whatever I wanted and go out of my comfort zone, and nobody could say anything about it. I was finally given that outlet to let go of my creativity, and my energy and my fun that I've been forced to keep in for so long. The purpose of spirit leaders at these kind of events are to be that consistent presence for the delegates and to be their go-to support in both big and small ways. That conference taught me how small an action can be to cause an impact. It was actually at this conference that I heard from the speaker I mentioned earlier, who told me it's just small, consistent actions. A small, consistent action is a habit. A small, consistent action is putting your socks on in the morning. It's saying I love you to your mom. A small, consistent action is high-fiving your friend every day. Now, when I was there, I heard a story from a different speaker about him and this guy he had gone to school with from kindergarten to grade 12. He shared that the two of them were never friends, but they always knew each other. So when the speaker would see him in the halls, he wouldn't pay him much attention, but he'd always give him a high five and a smile. And for the guy, that was exactly what he needed to get through one of the toughest times of his life. It was something as simple as a smile that had made him get through every day. Now, when I had left that conference, I had a text from one of the delegates. And now I'll be honest, I don't know this guy. I don't remember his face, I didn't get his name. We never had a conversation. But when I got home, I had a text from this guy saying how my energy and my positive attitude was what had got him through that conference. He shared with me that he has struggles making friends and that he was really worried about it going in, but by seeing me run around and scream like a crazy man, it felt real to him. It's something as small as that to change someone's perspective. Now, I'm not saying we can change the world with high fives and smiles, but dang it, we can try. Now, at the beginning, I said Robert Munsch was my idol. And that's because looking back, his books connected to everything I loved in life. And I still see myself revisiting his stories when I get the chance. And I may have said that my parents weren't my biggest mentors, but they surely left the biggest impact. And so it's rare for me to share something so deep between my idol and the ones who left the biggest impact. But like my mom said to me every day, with her small, consistent actions, 4 lines engraved in my head that have impacted me the most. I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be.